What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. Back at you with another one. So today, I got something I want to talk about. So, you know what I noticed throughout the, I noticed this mostly on the Western Conference with the playoffs, because that was like tighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really didn't know who was going to win. We had some teams win that we didn't think was going to win. Like, nobody thought Minnesota was going to beat Denver, right? Like, it was some, you know, didn't nobody know who was going to win between Minnesota and Dallas. Like, it was some adversity on the West, right? But, you know, what I noticed was the team who won the closing battle won the series, right? Because I know in this day we love to talk about stats and analytics and all that, you know, all the cute shit, right? But at the end of the day, right, it's still gonna come down to closing, right? And if you look in the West, if you break down every series, the closing battle, right? So let's start off with the first round, Denver, LA. Who won the closing battle? Jamal Murray, right? Closed out every game. Even if you look at the series, I believe the Lakers led more time in the series than Denver did. The difference was Denver has a closer, the Lakers don't. Or if you want to say it another way, the Denver won the closing battle, the Lakers didn't. That's what happened. Closer win the series, right? Then you look at the next round, Minnesota, Denver. Well, who won the closing battle? Ant-Man won the closing battle. Who won the series? Minnesota, right? Then, last but not least, Timberwolves, Dallas. Who won the closing battle? Luka and Kyrie. Who won the series? Dallas. So it's just like, I think that closing is probably one of the things that gets understated and misunderstood when it comes to basketball. Like, I think it gets very misunderstood what and how you close out a basketball game. I think we get too caught up in game winners when we think of closing and not winning. Like, what I look at closing is like winning a stretch of the game that determines the outcome of the game, right? And honestly, if you close the game all the way out, it doesn't come down to a game winner, right? Having to shoot a lot of game winners really just means you never close the game out all the way, right? If you close the game out, there isn't no game winners. It's foul, free throws, game over, let the clock run out, game over. That's what closing really look like, right? When you really close, like put the nail in them. The game winner thing is like last case scenario, worst case scenario, game winner, right? But that's what I think. It's no like stat for it like that, right? The only stat they can come up with is the game winners. You know what I'm saying? But closing is so situational that even times in the game, if the game is not close, that's not even closing time. No matter, even if you lead, say for instance, right, you had the most fourth quarter points, like, right, that don't necessarily mean you're the best closer, because closing is situational. It's not every game gonna come down to closing. If I'm up 20, I'm down 20, who cares? If it's not a close couple points, you know what I'm saying, game, then closing wasn't necessary. So you can only judge it situational. You can't judge it in general. Like, you can't put a general stat out there and be like, oh, that means he a closer. No, it's not that simple. Well, man, because a lot of them stats is going to be null and void because the situation didn't cause for closing anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they try to put a stat around it, but me personally, I feel like it's too situational to put a stat around it. Like, you got to really like watch the game to judge if it was a closing scenario or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my personal opinion. Now, you can do something like, you know, if the game was within 5 in the last 3 to 4 minutes, who averaged the most points, but I personally feel like closing is only something you can eyeball. That's just my personal opinion. There's no stat that you can just be like, oh, look at this stat, he a closer. Nah. You gotta be able to eyeball it. Because sometimes you can close, like for instance, right? If you look at Luka closed out game 5 in like the second quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like he ended that game early. Like he put the nail in Minnesota early. Right? That's how I look at it. Like he came out like, nope, we ain't making this no more interesting than we already did. You know what I'm saying? He put the nail in them early. You might not have to, like, you might put the nail in the team before the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even with that stat, it's like, it's really no stat to, really, they want to make a stat for it so bad. That's why they don't give it the proper credit, because they can't put a stat around it. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion with it. I feel like they don't, because you can only eyeball closing because it's a moment thing. You don't know when that moment gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? A player might go off beginning of the third, and that run be the difference in the game right there. They get up 10, they never get back close, that be the game. You never know when it's gonna happen. So, you know, that's just my little take on it. It made me think about it when I was looking at these playoffs and how consistent the winning was with the team that had the closer. You know what I mean? So I just feel like closing is something they did that's very misunderstood and underappreciated when it comes to basketball. You know, we love like efficiency and stats, right? But efficiency don't mean shit if you don't win. Like if you can't close, that efficiency is like null and void. It was cute, it was fun to watch, it sound good, it's a good excuse when you lose that you ain't at fault, but at the end of the day, it don't matter if you don't win. So, yeah, that's my take on it, man. I just had to get that, let that one, that was sitting on me. I had to go ahead and express that. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all on the next one. Peace.